Oh, wait, do you want to clap it up? You want to clap that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. We'll
One,
find one.
2, 3. This is just gonna be a running joke that every time we try to do the clap, we just can't do it.
We fail at clapping. We can't do it. It's impossible.
I guess not everyone is well versed in compas.
Is that what they do in flamenco? Like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Las Palmas is the clapping, compas is the rhythm.
See, we're cultured here. Here at Swifty Dialogues, we endorse culture.
It's an educational show, really, at its core.
Today's lesson, flamenco.
I don't know. At its core, it's just three assholes talking about whatever. And for the audience, we're not a review show. I won't consider us like we're gonna be reviewing a whole bunch of stuff, but I sort of wanted to like talk about WandaVision. So, at the time of this recording, WandaVision, the series finale, premiered just yesterday.
So when you're listening 3 months from now.
This is going to be hot commentary when y'all listen to this.
Yeah, to be fair, audience, I'm not sure when you're going to be listening to this. So, you know, we are recording the day after the WandaVision series finale.
But this show's timeless, so, you know, you can listen to this, maybe your kids can listen to this, maybe your grandkids will listen to this one day, and they'll all understand that we watched WandaVision.
Maybe by that time we'll have some merch. And tell your grandkids, tell your kids to buy our merch.
Yeah. Maybe in the future, when people listen to this, they haven't seen WandaVision, and this will make them want to watch WandaVision.
If that's the case, pay us, Disney.
Yes. If only it was that easy.
Speaking of Disney, I have a Disney story that's unrelated to WandaVision that I feel like I should tell. Have I ever told you about the time that I didn't get a job at Disney World because they told me in the interview I wasn't happy enough to work there?
That does not surprise me, though.
I'm being dead serious. They were like, we don't think you're a happy enough person to have a job at Disney.
It's the happiest place in the world.
And I was like, oh man, that's a bummer. I don't think you helped my mood at all with that one.
Sorry for your loss.
Didn't work out.
Are you happy now?
No. Nothing's changed. I was trying to be a photographer.
Photographer at the
yeah.
park? What would you photograph at the park? Just like people walking by?
You know, the people. Like, be one of those guys that's like, hey, you want your picture taken? You know, right at the entrance.
Oh, and then you're like, $50.
I think they denied Rob because he applied to be a bathroom photographer. And people weren't really for that.
So yeah, going into this, I already have like a little bit of a bias against Disney. But I like The Mandalorian. So I was like, I don't know. It might be good.
Actually, going into WandaVision, that was going to be my first question to all of you. What's your history with the MCU? Have you kept up, or is this like just one of the random Marvel shows you decided to like watch, or how well versed are you?
I was never really into comic books, so my only knowledge of the MCU is purely from movies starting in 2008 and on.
Is that when Iron Man was released, 2008?
Yeah, the first Iron Man in 2008 to start the series, and I've seen every movie.
I grew up watching the shows mostly, and mostly not the ones that are part of the MCU. So like I grew up watching like the Spider-Man animated series and
Spider blood, radioactive spider blood.
Yeah. And the other one, X-Men. That was the other one, X-Men.
Ah, great series.
Oh, with that sick ass guitar solo.
Yeah. And Cyclops was still like a badass and not like a little pussy like he was in their movies. And then, of course, not related at all, but Batman fan. But again, mostly just TV shows. And then I've seen all the movies, but I took like a break in the middle of them. and was like, ah, these are just origin stories. I kind of don't care anymore. And then I didn't come back until Avengers Infinity War. And then I like rewatched all the ones that I missed after I saw Infinity War.
Yeah, I'm basically in the same place. I've seen movies from X-Men to Marvel to what have you, but I watched Agents of Shield, which that's actually a good show. So
I haven't seen it.
no, that's what coming into the show. I had all that background coming into the show, and the first episode just what the fuck, out of nowhere. Very strange, very different.
Yeah, going in, I also grew up watching, a whole bunch of the stuff. I read like maybe a few of the comics, but not really. Just old comics from like the 80s and early 90s that my brother collected. And then I watched all the MCU movies and I watched the Netflix shows. Then they got canceled.
Oh, the Netflix ones. That's like the best of the whole franchise, in my opinion. We can talk about that another day, but
Daredevil, yes,
that's a
great
good
show.
good series.
Yeah, it totally was. But
You know what? Let's do a Daredevil review show today. Let's wait for WandaVision won't be relevant anyway when this comes out. Let's just talk about Daredevil, how much of a badass he is.
is that relevant even now?
Just the character in general. Just how he's a blind lawyer and he just fucking fucks people up.
No, it's okay. We can talk about Scarlet Witch though. No, that's fine.
No, we'll discuss Daredevil in our Ben Affleck appreciation episode.
Yes, of course. It's right after the Sinbad Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
Annual Ben Affleck
Yes.
appreciation episode. Semi-annual. We'll have it like 3 times a year.
I was thinking weekly.
A tribute to all of his great works.
And on today, we're going to talk about the classic Argo. And also, fuck, what was the other thing? Was it Gone Girl? Was it Gone Girl?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Gone Girl. Wanda was quite a Gone Girl, huh?
Yeah, so going into this show, I was really I was just a little on edge because the ABC shows like Agents of Shield and whatnot are no longer canon. The
And Inhumans was trash.
that was trash. Then like the Netflix shows are no longer canon. So I was like, okay, round 4, let's do this. Another round of fucking TV shows. Let's see if these actually stay canon. But I did actually end up really liking it and was really surprised. When the show first started, what'd you guys think about the direction, especially like those first 2 episodes?
I knew going into it what it was going to be. I think I probably knew too much. I had like read up about how they were gonna parody a show from each decade. I've seen those shows that they were parodying too, so it was like more funny for me with that experience of like having seen like Dick Van Dyke Show with my parents and like how cheesy and stupid they are and how faithful they were to that kind of thing.
Yeah, same. I did also read up a lot of stuff before the show came out. And going in, I was like, a lot of people were pissed. They were like, this is boring. It's like, well, like, this is the point. They're setting something up.
Yeah, the whole thing about people thinking it's boring at first, I was one of those people. I just saw the first episode. I had nothing to work with. But once I read online more into it and how it's based on the House of M comics, which now watching it makes me want to read more into comic books and like. But when you read into it, then yeah, like Rob said, you're not really surprised by how Wanda's creating a fake reality, and you just want to know how she got there. And the whole time in the first 2 episodes, you're just like, what's the premise? Because you don't even see a clear line until maybe like episode 3 or 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like could be boring at first if you're not really into like that whole black and white TV shows and stuff like that. But it's the mystery that sort of keeps you hooked. So like,
Yeah.
if you're going in, if you haven't watched like let's say Infinity War at least, and see Vision die, spoiler alert.
Or Age of Ultron. Need to watch Age of Ultron for sure.
It's the mystery that keeps you hooked, and like, specifically speaking about the first 2 episodes, in which 90% of it is like that stereotypical 50s, 60s sitcom format. It's when they break out of that out of nowhere in like those sort of like horror type shots.
I wish it went a little more horror. Like they were like right on the cusp sometimes. I wish they could have pushed it just a little bit more over the edge, but it's Disney, so has to be happy.
Yeah. It kind of gave me a vibe like experimentation, like she was put into a simulation, but then yeah, you find out later that, spoiler alert, she made the simulation.
Wait, she made the simulation? Oh, fuck. I didn't finish it.
Oh man, you should watch the show, bro. It's great. Oh man, I'm trying to listen to the hippest record, but I don't know how.
Hey, Simple Cinda, I'm Dr. Rob. And have you heard about the Swifty Dialogues stereo system, now powered by Steam?
No way. Steam, like the PC video game platform?
No, dumbass, like an actual Steam engine.
That doesn't sound efficient.
You just simply find the most convenient spot in your home, set it down, and the Swifty Dialogue system does the rest. No power cord required.
Okay, but...
Now we just install our mobile 20-man crew shoveling coal into the steam-powered engine.
What the fuck? My wall!
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of the Swifty Dialogue stereo system powered by Steam.
Oh my god. Why would you do this to me? I didn't ask for this. My wall is totally broken.
Deal with it. It was such a missed opportunity to not have like a Full House parody.
Yeah, and I have that actually in my notes as well.
No, I thought they did that in the 90s type, or before Malcolm in the Middle episode. There was this kind of Full House type show, like, but it wasn't full on like the Full House reference.
No, I think it was a different show that they were referencing. I might have to look it up.
They were referencing the one with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Oh,
in the 80s.
With the uncle, right? Because Pietro was the uncle.
yeah, you're right. I forgot the name of that.
Family Ties.
Yeah. So the only reference that I know of to Full House in the show is when they did that 80s parody episode. When they did the intro, there was a shot that looks almost exactly like it was taken out of Full House.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
But aside from that, they didn't lean too heavily into that.
No.
But
yeah.
I'm with you there, Rob, because when they skipped from the 80s to Malcolm in the Middle, which I feel like was more like early 2000s.
Yes.
I was like, where's the 90s? Like, there was Friends, there was
Well, Friends was the 90s.
Full House,
Seinfeld.
They didn't choose any of the greats.
There was Family Matters they skipped over.
Yeah, did I do that?
Couldn't Vision have been a perfect Urkel?
Yeah. Was Roseanne 80s or 90s?
I think I was 90s.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. Roseanne was a pretty big hit back in the day.
Yeah.
Roseanne was so important to my upbringing. I don't know what I'd do without Roseanne.
You'd be in a ditch.
Yeah. Roseanne brought you out of the ditch.
When you made it to, like, let's say past the first two episodes, like in the middle of the episodes when all the Pietro stuff and the sword stuff was happening and all the fan theory stuff was really starting to bubble up, what were your own personal fan theories that you had, if you had any?
Yeah, I thought she stole the body, like they said, and reanimated it with her power. Because if she had the ability to create a whole goddamn town that shifts generations, shifts decades every, like, episode, then you can have the ability to reanimate Vision's body, but then also she has the power of the Mind Stone, and basically, why couldn't she just create another Vision?
I had this theory when I was watching it that the nosy neighbor character was actually secretly a witch that was going to try and absorb all of her power and kill her, and a white version of Vision would kill the fictional version of Vision.
You're full of shit.
and then that Darcy bitch would like run into that one guy with her car. I had this theory that all of that would happen in like at least the finale of this season.
God damn, Rob, you got to play the lottery.
I had a theory in which the fucking director of Sword, he was keen into shooting kids. I was like, I don't know, just looking at that guy, he likes to shoot kids.
Yeah, he didn't even fucking hesitate. He looked at those kids.
He shot for them first, right? Wanda was there too.
Yeah, he had time in between just unleashing a clip that he could have been like, maybe not.
Yeah.
I think he was all aiming at that one kid too, you know, the shittier one.
Yeah.
All of those bullets were just gonna hit that one fucking kid.
Yeah.
You know, everyone else is just be like, what was that, dude? And he's just like, man, I just don't like kids.
Even Agatha would have like stopped and been like, did you see that?
Why didn't he shoot Agatha?
Yeah.
She's this like spectral being with all this purple magic shit. He's got a clear line of sight because she's in the air. And he goes for the kid that's just standing there.
Yeah, it makes no sense. He's like, fuck this kid in particular. He's not even real. And then he ends up shooting the woman. And Photon, yes, that's her superhero name.
Why does Photon give a shit about these fictional kids? Why did she jump in the way?
She's a good person.
Also, they could have stopped the bullets, but she's like, oh, these imaginary creations are gonna get hurt by a bullet.
She
Yeah.
doesn't know that they're imaginary.
Yeah.
I thought she was onto it.
But props to her for just guessing that she's bulletproof. You're just really guessing there. You're like, hope to God all these bullets don't just kill me.
That was a gamble.
Oh yeah, I could phase shift into light.
They should have named her Gamble. I mean, that's a better name, right? What the fuck is even Photon about her?
Well, unfortunately, that name is already taken by the superhero Gamble, who has a gambling addiction, and he somehow saves the day that way.
He's on FanDuel all the time.
No, he infiltrates criminal organizations, borrows their money, gambles it away, and then runs them out of business. Gamble.
The gambler.
He doesn't even lose it in like a fun way. He just like plays the penny slots for hours and hours. He goes in, takes a bunch of money, just like ching.
I really feel it this time. I got it.
Oh, I lost.
He's just chain smoking cigs. He's like, oh yeah, this is what I live for.
He doesn't even go to Vegas. He goes to Atlantic City. Like,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just trying to lose the money.
No, dude, he doesn't even go to Atlantic City. He just goes to like a reservation in Ohio. It's just like it's a casino out there.
The Mississippi casino boats.
Yes, that's where he lives.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Take that back.
They should make a show about him. You know, maybe that could be the next thing. You know, Wanda ends up spending some time with Gamble and tries to help him through his gambling addiction. I don't know. I'm just workshopping the idea right now.
Wanda, I see that you're depressed. Have you tried the slot machines?
Is that Count Chocula?
Oh, so he's helping her.
Yeah.
You might be able to develop your reward system again. Just play the slots, Wanda. Play the slots.
He's a ghost, apparently.
I don't know why he's a ghost. He's not dead.
He's somewhere between a ghost and Count Chocula.
He's just making fun of her because Vision's dead. He's constantly just fucking with her like, I'm Vision, go gamble. And then she like zaps him. I don't know. It's a work in progress, but we'll have a script by the end of the day. It was just so bizarre to me when I was watching, I think it was the 8th episode, the second to last one, when they're retconning Wanda's backstory and they like pitch her as this girl who grew up watching all these American sitcoms for no reason, and like bombs go off and the TV's still there and fucking Malcolm in the Middle's on. She's like surviving this onslaught of destruction and somehow manages to see fucking Hal like, oh, running around or whatever the fuck happens.
What was the bizarre part? Her watching sitcoms or that it was a war-torn area?
Well, just the combination of both at the same time. You know, like she's surviving this horrible destruction outside, and the one thing that survived was Malcolm in the fucking Middle on the TV in front of her.
Yeah, that is pretty impossible. The TV still has power.
I think it's possible. Like, I don't know about you guys, but your boy here has relatives in third world areas, and like when I go visit them, it's surprising the American media that they have, and in how it ranges from like really modern stuff to like really obscure shit.
Is your family Sokovian?
It can be. You don't know me like that. So what if that country's fictional? They can be.
Yeah, right?
But it was just so absurd to just like retcon this obsession of hers. Like, if they had, I don't know, shown her with like a case of The Office or something, you know, when she was at the Avengers compound, or like if she had been making references to sitcoms in her dialogue, it would have felt more real. But they're just like, oh yeah, this whole time Wanda's been obsessed with American sitcoms from the early decades, one per decade, and she was watching them the night everybody died, and somehow the TV survived, and Malcolm in the Middle was on. And...
I mean, I don't know. I'm personally okay with it because, like, one, we don't know that it's actually one per decade that she had. Maybe she had, like, a bit wider collection.
I hope.
And then, two, because the influx of, like, American media is that tiny, that it is possible that it's that really eclectic mix of sitcoms. So I'm okay with that. And, like, you've met Germans and Russians and shit like that before, Rob, like at least in school.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with them in which they're like, oh, we don't even watch German or Russian or whatever country they're from TV. It's mostly just American stuff.
So that's what they're trying to play on. That's how people learn English, and that's how they learned about American culture.
The acting of the young girl Wanda was a little weird for me. It was like the way she was like, hello, Papa. Thank you for the shows. And then she's like just maniacally looking at TVs. It's like, it seemed a little too much or like too much on the nose for me. But aside from that, the entire scenario I was okay with.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's just weird when you're creating a fictional country and trying to set the characters and their culture all within a fictional mindset that could be believable, but at the same time isn't like offensive to anyone.
Yeah, but that little girl, though, if you played the different music to her, like, creepy smile, it could have been a horror movie, for sure.
Yeah, especially when they close in on her smile on the TV. It's like, oof, back away 10 feet, please.
Yeah, they need to not close up onto her face. But besides that, they did a good job of, like, they meant to show how that missile that hit their house said Stark on it, and that would like also related to a story that Wanda told Tony Stark. So, or
yeah, she told it to
or
Ultron,
maybe not
actually.
Ultron. Yeah.
She told it to Ultron, and Pietro told it to Ultron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good connection. You know, they've been doing that since like day one, because that was a borrowed kind of thing from when Iron Man had the same thing happen to him in the first movie. You know.
Yes,
Bombs up
exactly.
Bluff and he sees the Stark logo on it.
Yeah.
I just saw that like 2 days ago, and I was like, oh shit! I started picking up on like little things, like, oh wow, they paid that off. Yeah, I think one point that I wasn't a huge fan of the series finale though is when it happened all in one scene, and that was when Agent Wu, when he was like handcuffed, and he was trying to distract the director
Hayward.
so he could get the phone and everything. 2 things about that. Actually 3 things. One, I
6
hate
things.
8 things.
10 things.
I feel like the more we continue with this, the more we're just gonna turn into Count Chocula.
10 things I hate about Hayward.
10 Things I Hate About Hayward.
This summer, starring Elizabeth Smart.
I don't like how he was trying to give like a James Bond type of fucking exposition and like explaining his plan to Agent Woo. Like, oh, you're gonna go away anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain my entire plan to you.
That's always corny.
And then he topped it off with a goddamn pun. If only you had a little bit more vision.
Yeah, that was pretty weak.
And they didn't even kill him for that. You know, like usually when a bad guy in a movie says something that stupid, later at some point he gets killed. And they didn't kill him.
Usually you don't kill people over puns, Rob.
Yeah.
No, but you know, like the poetic justice or whatever that happens in movies, like you do something so bad.
No, I think that was for the children. They didn't want like someone to actually die. They got close though.
I will also say that generally overall, but especially in the villains like Hayward and Agnes, the dialogue was a little weak. Like Wanda and Vision's dialogue was fine, but like the other characters, you know, they tell you the story a little too much rather than just kind of like talk like normal people. Like that whole episode with Agnes, she's just like walking around Wanda like, ooh, you have a little bit of traumatic history, don't you, Wanda? You had your brother died and your dad died. And on this day, your mom died. And on this page in the Wikipedia article, Vision got killed. And, you know, just like really explicitly explaining the story to Wanda for the dumb people at home who are like, I only watched Endgame twice.
I don't know what you mean. That's how I naturally talk to people who recently had family died.
Really condescendingly.
I heard your grandmother died.
Oh, yeah, we get it.
That was just natural dialogue. I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
But yeah, her and, like you said with Hayward, both were just spoon feeding the audience plot points in case we forgot or aren't paying attention or don't, you know, really understand anything that's going on other than the scene we're in currently.
Yeah, he was a bad dude overall.
Then there was the the second thing was when Agent Woo was distracting him and he managed to take the phone. That on its own was fine, I suppose, but when you pay attention in the background, he had like 3 guards staring at Agent Woo.
None of them saw this happen.
None of them cared. They're not paid enough. This Hayward guy, he's cutting the budget across the whole project. He's the real villain for that.
Yeah, they also lost a bunch of people to the Hex, so they all turned into carnies. What else are you gonna do? Just gotta let it slide. So, does Agnes still have powers? Or did she just, like, drain her as well?
She still has powers.
Yeah, because she would have been an old woman if she was totally drained.
I didn't fully understand that whole power exchange thing. It was very Dragon Ball Z to me.
Yeah, she definitely went Super Saiyan in that episode.
Well, actually, a Super Saiyan is, according to the director's cut,
a giant ape who lives on the planet Vegeta.
Vegeta.
What do
You
you...
got the entire concept of a Super Saiyan wrong, and so worst episode ever. So the last thing I think that I really have to criticize about the show, or at least the finale, was at the end when, you know, the spell is broken and, you know, Wanda is walking away from the empty house and then she meets up with Agent Rambo. Not sure why I said it that way.
Rambo.
But yeah. And then she's like, I would have done the same. Now go off. Get out of here, you scamp.
Yo, right? Like, they were like, peace out, Wanda. No repercussions.
She's committed so many fucking crimes.
You tortured hundreds of people at once for weeks.
Including Monica.
Yeah. How did the kids stay alive, though? Like, were they locked in their rooms, and then did she let them leave to go eat or drink or?
I thought the kids weren't real.
Yeah, well, no, but
the
like
other
in
kids.
the Spooktober or spectacular episode or whatever it was, that's where all the kids were. They were like
Oh,
finally
yeah,
out
the
and
kids.
about. Yeah, and then he was like, "Where were you hiding them up until this point?" I had to rewatch it because I was like, "Yeah, wait, what the f?" Because they bring up where the kids, but they don't tell you till later that the kids are just in their bedrooms, like locked in there. It's so strange until Wanda's like, "Yeah, come out and play."
She was protecting them from Hayward, who has this fucking fetish about shooting children.
Yo, I know. Yeah, the secret plot line. She was just protecting them.
That's actually what really started the whole Hex thing was, she saw Hayward shoot a child. She's like, oh, fuck, I gotta start this. Vision, I need help. And then, boom, the whole thing happened.
What'd you guys think of the whole boner thing?
Oh, the boner I had the whole time? It was fine. I have that every episode, so.
How would you rate it out of 10? Like 5 out of 10 out of your boners, or like 0 out of 10 will never boner again?
So my rating system for boners is just on off. It's binary. It's either
It's either
1 or
yes
0.
or no.
Boner, I hardly even know her.
Is that the name of the real actor? Is that his?
No.
No, I like how they went meta with it though, and they used the actor who plays I guess Peter. That's what his name is in X-Men. And then he's the son of Magneto in that universe, but in a totally different universe, I guess. You got Pietro. Yeah, you got Pietro, who's brothers with Wanda. But then Doctor Strange. Well, he's going to join Wanda's universe soon. That's the next movie that's coming out. This is all a plug, really, for Doctor Strange and Wanda to, like, create one movie together.
All the Marvel movies are just plugs for the next one.
Yeah, oh yeah. They did a great job of plugging their other movies as well as, like, leading up more.
I will say Endgame probably feels like the only one that really could just, like, stand alone and not make you feel like, okay, what's the next one gonna be? And maybe it's because they didn't do the credits tag at the end, but at the end of Endgame, you're like, oh, finally get that relief of like, okay, wow, that all paid off. But
WandaVision though, WandaVision, bro. I think Agnes, that actress, I forgot her name, but she plays a great evil villain that you never really see coming. She kind of sneaks up on you. She's up to some shady shit, though, because she just always has a good mood. And you could see in other episodes, she would act, like, sketchy when she was talking to other people. But for a little bit of time, I thought, was she the one controlling the people? And then Wanda just created the reality? But no, it sounds like Wanda also controlled people and controlled reality. But then my question is, how did she do that? Yo, was she just living there in the town and she was like, oh, it just so happens you fucking caught a witch. Joke's on you. Like, you think you're gonna hex my town? What are the chances?
yeah, I don't understand what Agnes was doing with her life up until this point,
Chilling.
She's just been like doing small petty crime and getting away with like little things under the radar and stuff. Obviously, she's evil, but
See, now what would have worked? Now that you bring that up, that's a good point. I didn't think about. Like, one, what was she fucking doing there to begin with?
Yeah, exactly.
But what would have really, I think, helped the ending is if they did something like, oh, it turned out that while Agnes was chilling there this entire time, she was actually doing some fucked up shit to the people. When Wanda showed up and did her alternate reality, it actually did end up helping them in the sense of like, yeah, they were still in a trance, but it was subduing, like, let's say Agatha's power. That way at the end it made Wanda's fucking action a little bit more sympathetic rather than like, oh, get out of here, you scamp. Man, I don't know about you guys, but there are times where I just feel like really low energy. Like I can't really stay awake. I think I'm just working too hard, but I'm just...
Hello, young man. Do you ever feel exhausted in the middle of the day? Do you use Juul Pods? Well, we have the product for you! Meth Pods! They are compatible with your favorite electronic cigarette. These pods will keep you alert for weeks to come! Ah! You won't have a sleepy moment in the foreseeable future. Not recommended for people under the age of 5. Side effects may include zombie tendencies,
Bad breath,
Diarrhea,
hallucinations,
missing teeth,
chlamydia,
divorce,
anal leakage,
terrible family gatherings,
disappointment of father,
unfortunate friends that steal your money.
violent episodes.
hearing a cat in the background for some reason.
That's my cat, man. It's because I don't have enough Juul Pod stuff with the meth in it.
Or you're having a little too much.
Now available at CVS.
Overall thoughts on the show, what you think about it, how it ended, and would you recommend?
Yes, 100% recommend. Yeah, well, I watched the whole way through though. Do not stop.
I liked it, but unlike The Mandalorian, I don't think I would probably enjoy watching it a second time through. Disney has really set the bar high with Mandalorian. I feel like all their shows are going to be compared to it and maybe won't stack up. And you got to think, Jon Favreau directing and producing and all that, they really need him on more projects if they want to keep making top tier kind of quality.
Yeah.
So wait, Jon Favreau didn't do WandaVision, did he?
No, he
No.
did Mandalorian, but he also did Iron Man. So he's the reason
He's directed
for
a
the
lot.
success of the MCU. If it wasn't for Iron Man being a hit, none of these other things would have been made. And he's starting to do that with Star Wars now. He's kind of switched gears, and I feel like that's probably going to be the better entity for a while.
He also was the one who stood up for Robert Downey Jr. when everyone was like, no, he's too high risk. He was like, no, we need him to be Iron Man.
Yeah, perfect casting. Absolutely.
I would recommend the show. I think this is there are a few episodes here and there that I wouldn't mind watching again, but watching the whole series again, I probably won't do that anytime soon. And with The Mandalorian and this show, I'm really starting to realize how spoiled I was with just releasing the whole season at once formula.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would have totally binge watched it and not slept. But the thing is, too, is it did keep the fans interested for a long period of time. And
I agree.
we only have a week left, another week until the next show starts, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
And that'll probably be more action oriented.
Yeah.
That was something I also missed from WandaVision. I know this is a basic complaint, not very highbrow of me, but I like action. And, if I'm going to suspend my belief to allow a reality where Wanda and Vision exist, I want to see them shooting bad guys and, shit blowing up and stuff. Come on. You could have worked that in if you wanted to.
Yeah. The show was more of a kind of dramatic, kind of artsy show. It's like they took a totally different approach. They sprinkled in action at the end, but most of the show is just what the fuck is happening? And then there's so many crazy theories. And I like the theories though because they do follow the comic books. They stay true. That's the one thing I like about the MCU in general. They try to stay true to the comic books as much as they can, but you can't hit everything.
But yeah, and they adapt things in creative ways. But yeah, I will recommend the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. Just, on the assumption that you like Marvel kind of stuff. If that's not your scene, clearly you won't like it.
Yeah, you might want to watch a couple movies before, just so you're not really in the whole...
Yeah, you might want to watch Endgame, the most financially successful movie ever of all time.
But no,
I don't know, maybe.
But maybe other ones. Maybe you want to watch the one before Endgame. Yeah.
Infinity War will probably be the one to watch since that's the one where stuff happens to the two main characters.
Yeah, but they talk
Yeah.
about an Endgame, so same difference.
Yeah. You really just need to watch the 4 Avenger movies, and then you'll have a pretty good idea.
I don't know if you even need the first one. First
No.
one's not
Oh
like
no,
too
Yeah.
story driven.
Nah, just
Age
just,
of Ultron and the Endgame.
Age of Ultron.
Infinity War.
No,
and
Infinity
Endgame.
War and
it's
Endgame.
Civil
Yeah.
War.
Maybe Civil War. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Civil War's good.
You need Civil War because like that shows like why Wanda escaped and like
Yeah.
why
Overall, watch WandaVision. It's a great show.
Yep, and I echo that same thought. And also, Disney, pay us.
Yeah. You know, I'm
Uh,
happier now. Maybe you can hire me back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob wants employment again.
If Rob isn't happy enough for this podcast, I don't mind letting him go Disney. Just pay me. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to our podcast. Swifty Dialogues was brought to you by your hosts, Rob, Cinda, and myself, Ariel. You can support us by subscribing to our podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, or any other major podcast services. Subscribe to a YouTube channel for exclusive content such as animated shorts. Find us on Twitter and Instagram with the handle @Swifty Dialogues. If you want to learn more about us, visit our website at swiftydialogues.com. You can also contact us by filling out the form on our website or emailing us at info@swiftydialogues.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next episode.